2025 will be remembered as the year the digital revolution stopped being a forecast and became a lived reality. For more than a decade, we've talked about transformation, disruption, and the promise of intelligent technologies. But this year, the world crossed a threshold. Artificial intelligence moved from the edges of experimentation into the core of how industries operate. Intelligent infrastructure matured. Global governance frameworks took shape. And professionals across every sector began redefining their roles through augmentation rather than automation. In 2025, digital stopped being a strategy and became the operating system of modern business. But what truly sets 2025 apart is the acceleration of human capability. This was the year people, not platforms, became the center of the revolution. Leaders embraced digital fluency as a core competency. Teams learned to collaborate with intelligent systems. Entire sectors discovered that the real competitive advantage isn't technology itself, but the mindset to wield it with purpose. And through every conversation, every episode, and every insight shared on this podcast series, we've watched a global community of revolutionists rise, professionals committed to shaping the future rather than reacting to it. As we close out Season 2, we're not just reflecting on a year of breakthroughs. We're acknowledging a turning point. 2025 didn't just move the digital revolution forward. It proved that the revolution is now fully underway and truly engaged. And the next season needs to be written by those bold enough to lead it. AI goes enterprise native, the year of embedded intelligence. 2025 marked the moment AI stopped being a side project and became the backbone of enterprise operations. For years, businesses experimented with pilots, proofs of concept, and isolated use cases. But this year, AI moved from the innovation lab into the core of business architecture. Companies across energy, manufacturing, logistics, finance, and infrastructure began embedding intelligent systems directly into their workflows, automating routine decisions, enhancing engineering accuracy, and accelerating compliance processes. AI co-pilots became standard tools, not experimental add-ons. The shift was so significant that many enterprises now treat AI the same way they treat ERP systems or cybersecurity frameworks, as essential infrastructure. What made 2025 different wasn't just adoption, it was integration. AI became woven into the daily rhythm of work, augmenting professionals rather than replacing them. Engineers used AI-driven models to validate designs in real time. Operations teams relied on predictive intelligence to anticipate failures before they occurred. Compliance departments leveraged automated reasoning to navigate increasingly complex regulatory landscapes, and leadership teams began making strategic decisions with the support of AI-powered scenario modeling. The result was a measurable leap in efficiency, accuracy, and resilience. For the first time, enterprises weren't just using AI, they were running on it. This transition also reshaped expectations for digital maturity. Businesses that once viewed AI as optional suddenly found themselves competing against peers who had embedded intelligence into every layer of their operations. The competitive gap widened quickly, creating a new category of enterprise, the AI native company. These companies aren't simply transformed, they're continuously evolving, using intelligent systems to adapt faster than traditional structures ever could. And that shift, more than any single technology, defined 2025 as the year embedded intelligence became the new standard for global competitiveness. Intelligent infrastructure becomes the new competitive edge. If 2025 had a single defining theme for industries built on physical assets, it was this: infrastructure finally became intelligent. After years of incremental upgrades, sensors here, dashboards there, businesses began connecting their operational ecosystems into unified, data-driven networks. edge computing matured to the point where decisions could be made milliseconds from the source. Internet of Things devices evolved from passive data collectors into active participants in operations, and AI became the orchestration layer, interpreting signals, predicting failures, and optimizing performance in real time. The result was a new class of infrastructure, self-aware, adaptive, and capable of learning from every cycle of operation. This shift fundamentally changed how companies think about competitiveness. In energy, utilities, transportation, and manufacturing, the businesses that invested in intelligent infrastructure saw measurable gains in uptime, safety, and cost efficiency. Predictive maintenance moved from a buzzword to a baseline expectation. Autonomous inspection systems reduced risk and accelerated compliance. Smart materials and sensor-rich coatings extended asset life while providing continuous feedback loops. Leaders began to realize that the real differentiator wasn't the asset itself, it was the intelligence wrapped around it. The companies that embraced this shift didn't just operate more efficiently, they operated with foresight. More importantly, intelligent infrastructure redefined the relationship between digital transformation and the physical world. For the first time, digital wasn't layered on top of operations, it was embedded within them. This convergence created a new competitive landscape where resilience, adaptability, and real-time insight became the currency of leadership. And in 2025, the businesses that understood this early didn't just gain an edge, they set the standard for what modern industrial excellence looks like. Global AI governance takes shape. 2025 was the year the world finally acknowledged that artificial intelligence isn't just a technological breakthrough, it's a geopolitical force. As AI systems became embedded in critical infrastructure, financial markets, healthcare, and national security, governments recognized the need for clear, enforceable frameworks. Major regions, including North America, the European Union, the United Kingdom, and parts of Asia, introduced comprehensive AI governance models focused on transparency, safety, data sovereignty, and accountability. For the first time, businesses operating across borders had to navigate a patchwork of regulations that demanded not just compliance, but strategic alignment. AI governance became as essential as cybersecurity, and enterprises quickly realized that ignoring it was no longer an option. This global shift reshaped how companies design, deploy, and manage intelligent systems. Leaders were forced to think beyond innovation and consider the ethical, cultural, and societal implications of AI at scale. Compliance teams evolved into AI risk management teams. Procurement processes began requiring proof of model safety, provenance, and bias mitigation. And cross-border collaboration intensified as industries sought harmonized standards to keep global operations viable. The organizations that adapted early gained a competitive advantage, not because they moved faster, but because they moved responsibly. More importantly, 2025 marked the beginning of a new social contract around AI. Citizens demanded transparency, regulators demanded accountability, and enterprises demanded clarity. This convergence created a global dialogue that elevated AI governance from a technical concern to a leadership imperative. The companies that embraced this shift didn't just protect themselves, they helped shape the future of how intelligent technologies will be trusted, deployed, and scaled worldwide. Cybersecurity reinvented AI-driven defense versus AI-driven threats. 2025 was the year cybersecurity entered a new era, one defined not by human-driven attacks, but by AI-powered adversaries capable of moving faster, adapting quicker, and exploiting vulnerabilities at a scale previously unimaginable. Traditional security models, built around static rules and manual monitoring, simply couldn't keep up. enterprises faced a surge in AI-generated phishing campaigns, deepfake-enabled fraud, automated reconnaissance, and self-evolving malware. Threat actors began using generative models to craft hyper-personalized attacks, making social engineering more convincing and more difficult to detect. The battlefield shifted from networks and endpoints to identity, trust, and verification. And for the first time, organizations realized that defending against AI-driven threats required AI-driven defenses. In response, cybersecurity teams embraced intelligent autonomous systems that could detect anomalies, respond to incidents, and even self-heal without waiting for human intervention. Zero-trust architectures became the global standard, not as a best practice, but as a survival mechanism. AI-powered threat hunting tools continuously scanned for patterns across billions of signals, identifying risks before they escalated. Identity verification systems began using multimodal authentication, behavioral patterns, biometrics, and contextual signals to stay ahead of deepfake impersonation. And security operations centers transformed from reactive command posts into proactive intelligence hubs, where humans and machines worked side by side to outpace increasingly sophisticated adversaries. What made 2025 truly transformative was the realization that cybersecurity was no longer just a technical discipline. It became a strategic imperative, woven into every layer of the enterprise. Boards demanded real-time risk visibility. Regulators tightened expectations around AI safety and model integrity. And leaders recognized that resilience wasn't about building higher walls, but about creating adaptive systems capable of learning and evolving. In this new landscape, the businesses that thrived weren't the ones with the biggest budgets. They were the ones that understood the new rules of engagement: speed, intelligence, and continuous vigilance. Cybersecurity didn't just change in 2025, it was reinvented. Workforce transformation accelerates the rise of the AI-augmented professional. If 2025 proved anything, it's that the future of work isn't automation replacing people. It's augmentation redefining what people can achieve. This was the year professionals across every industry began working side by side with intelligent systems, not as a novelty, but as a daily expectation. Engineers used AI co-pilots to validate designs, troubleshoot issues, and accelerate documentation. Marketers and communicators leveraged generative tools to refine messaging and adapt content across global audiences. Analysts used predictive models to surface insights that once took weeks to uncover. And frontline workers, from inspectors to technicians, relied on real-time intelligence delivered through mobile devices, wearables, and connected tools. The result wasn't just increased productivity, it was a fundamental shift in how expertise is expressed. This transformation also reshaped the definition of professional value. In 2025, the most successful individuals weren't the ones who feared AI, they were the ones who learned to orchestrate it. Digital fluency became a core leadership competency. Curiosity replaced resistance, and businesses began investing heavily in reskilling programs that empowered employees to use intelligent tools confidently and creatively. A new archetype emerged: the AI-augmented professional. These are the people who combine human judgment, domain expertise, and emotional intelligence with the speed, precision, and scalability of AI. They don't just keep up with change, they accelerate it. Perhaps most importantly, 2025 marked the rise of a global community of professionals who see AI not as a threat, but as a multiplier of human potential. These are the revolutionists, the individuals who embrace intelligent technologies to amplify their impact, elevate their craft, and shape the future of their industries. Their mindset is contagious, their influence is growing, and their approach to work is redefining what modern excellence looks like. As we close out this second season of the podcast, it's clear that the next chapter of the digital revolution will be written by these augmented professionals, people who understand that the real power of AI lies not in replacing humans, but in empowering them to do their best work. Thank you for joining the digital revolution in unraveling this fascinating topic. Be sure to stay tuned for more episodes where we dive deep into the latest innovations and challenges in the digital world. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep revolutionizing the digital world. And with that, I appreciate your continued support and engagement throughout the second season of the Digital Revolution podcast. Stay tuned for Season 3's new insightful episodes, where we have more guest interviews and cover the latest trends and innovations in intelligent technologies. Until next time, keep exploring the frontiers of intelligent technology. Don't forget to follow this podcast series to stay up to date on the ever-changing world of digital transformation. Thank you for supporting the revolution, and get ready for Season 3 of the Digital Revolution with Jim Kunkel podcast.